Okay, so we've got the valve body out. Got it back from Getaway Cars, and it's time to put it back in. So one thing that's kind of tricky that I didn't show on my removal, simply because you don't have to take it out or disconnect it to remove the valve body, but it's kind of tricky. Here is the TCM connector. Here, it does have a safety latch on it. So the first step is to pop it out. I use a little pick. See how it came out? It didn't come out much, but it does come out. Alright, so we'll set our pick down. Next thing to do is push up on the TCM and try to get what you can see. And it just kind of rolls around, unscrews, and there it is. So we'll pull it out here a little bit, but that's your safety there. That's it in, and then and that's out. Doesn't take much, just a little bit. So anyway, that's that. And then here's your pass-through. You pull it out. That just seals fluid from getting out of the transmission or into the TCM connector. So we'll go more about this in a few minutes. So next thing we need to make sure of before you put the valve body back in, when you get it back from Getaway Cars, you should still have your seal here, and a very important seal right here. And those pretty well stay in. They're hard to get out. I doubt that you have to remove those during shipping. Getaway Cars sent these back with ours, so no problem with that. If you wanted to pull it out to keep them with you, you can. They pull right out, and then just push right back in. This one as well. Out. So up to you, but you can pull them out. This one you can leave in the actual transmission. So another thing to remember when you're putting the valve body back in is you want to pull the pass-through out of the way, so you don't have to worry about that. This little ear here has to go in right here. This little slot here for your park neutral indicator and everything for your transmission, for the solenoids, as well as your display and your cluster and the console. So I line that up with this there, and then so as you go up, there's a dowel here, a dowel here. So you're gonna kind of want to place the valve body up, and it will kind of fall in place. So we'll do that now. See that kind of fell in place. So we'll start a few screws like that. Again, start the center ones. I took the center ones out last, so I like to start them. So we'll go just barely connect that. Alright, so the valve body is kind of heavy. Once you get those few in, you can start the others, and you're not holding all that heavy weight. So we'll run those up, the electric impact. Okay, so again, this has to be lined up right there. You can see that little ear on the linkage goes into it right there. So as long as this is lined up and your dowels are in, then you can torque your valve body. The torque spec is 71 inch-pounds. So we'll start here. I'll run that one up. those are all torqued, always go back over the center ones. Okay, now once that's torqued, we'll put our detent spring back in. And again, that locks here. It screws in right here. It's an 8mm bolt. And that torques to 106 inch-pounds. Sorry guys. Alright, here we go. So we'll put that. Okay, and that's torqued. So next thing, we'll put that pass-through O-ring back in. So one thing about this, again, it does have O-rings still to the case, but it has this little ear inside there. If you can see, that lines up with a slot in the valve body. So come back over here, place it, and you'll feel it line up. Show you that partially in. If you can see, that's it. Okay, so but we'll line it up. Okay, so once it lines up, you just push it in, and then you would lock it in with your little connector there, and that locks that in. That can't go anywhere. So at that time, you would come in and again line up your T-SIM connector and swing it down and lock it in. All right. Next thing, we'll put our filter back in. So that goes up into the little location there. Okay, so we'll make sure that this little square is able to kind of touch right there. You want that to, it's kind of how you know it's all the way in. So, next thing's the fan. I like to start all the bolts prior to tightening any of them. Start them all. Alright, so video purposes, I'm just going to do those two. Torque spec on the pan bolts are 80 inch-pounds. So you would torque your pan bolts, and at that time, to set fluid in the car, you start the car, leave it in park. With the car still running, you would pull out this little standpipe plug, or case plug, pull out the case. Here. So that, now, when that's out, see when it's in the case, that's actually like that, and it seals. So all I did was get up here, pop it up, and then that allows you to pull it out. So once that's out, and again the car's running, you would remove the plug and fill transmission fluid into this hole here. You can get a picture of that. It's right here. Fill the transmission here with the car running until the fluid comes out of your drain hole. Once it comes out, starts dripping out pretty steadily, it could even actually run out. Put the bolt back in, tighten it up, and transmission's full, you're good to go. You can start on wiring up your Getaway Cars two-step and trans brake.